Amazing. Let me put you guys in the gallery for those who want to show your beautiful faces. Always nice for that energetic reciprocity, but you do you. So, shalom. The topic of today is true abundance. I'd like to say and preface with, we live in a world obsessed. If that's the right word with abundance, the notion of it. And I think though there is the conversation of where it's sourced, it's often not presented in the teachings for those who speak about the topics. So what is abundance? In Torah and Kabbalah, the term is shefa. And shefa doesn't come from a striving, so to speak. It comes from alignment. It's not a doing more per se, though it can certainly come from best efforts, hishtadlut, action. It's more about becoming a vessel. And I hope to be a vessel for you tonight and be able to relay this transmission and help you guys also refine your vessels accordingly. Little introduction. Those who may not know, very short, I'm Rav Ashlag. First and foremost, a student of, in my great bias, one of the greatest Kabbalists in the world, Rabbi Avraham Mordechai Gottlieb, who has over 40 publications in the inner dimensions of the Torah, including 2 ongoing commentaries on the Zohar, already 30 plus years in the making. I've been learning under him for the past 5 years, most of which has been 10 hours a day, plus or minus. Grew up totally secular, only been growing these bad boys for a couple of years, but they're coming in very nicely, very nicely. And for some of you know, but I'm literally the greatest rapper alive. And that will be known, in hopefully the short future as far as artistic expression is concerned. I don't know about this webinar, but maybe we'll do something unique in future webinars where there will be expressions of such music and the breaking down of the lyrics and their Kabbalistic depth. So, abundance, again, isn't something we chase. It's something we align with by remembering who we are and that which sustains us. Being that in a very deep way, and it's an extension, it is actually the essence of our being. Why is that? My lineage, meaning my rabbi's rabbi, was Rav Ashlag. Got 2 sets of the Zohar here. I like the small one, a big one. Sometimes you got to put it in your pocket. Sometimes you just got to be able to carry it with the rest of your books. The Baal HaSulam was the grand commentator on the Zohar. In the past century, he was regarded as the Kabbalist. And arguably, most of the, let's say, big organizations out there that are teaching Kabbalah in more of an open or universalist fashion are based off of Rav Ashlag. And I hope to give you the same, just directly from the source, so to speak, if you catch my drift. So, in the beginning of Peticha L'Chochmat Kabbalah, the opening to the wisdom of Kabbalah, Baal HaSulam says that Shefa, abundance, is the light that emanates from the Creator. How do we understand that practically? Any iota of experience that we have in life, any pleasure, any ta'anug, the language of oneg, from the bite of an apple to ecstatic spiritual experience. It's a deposit of light. It's a light entering into our vessel in an experiential way. That's Shefa. So, in a very deep way, we have the freedom, we have the choice, we have the power to choose to believe that indeed even our pains and sufferings and blockage are also abundance. How do we understand that? When we look at the Torah as a model of consciousness, then it's a bit easier to connect to the notion. Being. Egypt, Mitzrayim. It's from the language of tsar. Tsar is a restrictedness, a narrowness. It's a constriction of our consciousness in that we're not in full expression. We're in the ego, we're in the chaos as opposed to the order, the love, the expression, the goodness, and so forth. When the Exodus, when Yetziat Mitzrayim was just starting, the nation of Israel, in their budding position, was commanded to take the gold and the silver of the Egyptians as the spoils that they were to leave Egypt with. Gold in the Zohar, Zahav, is translated as Zehav. This give. Give meaning a command form. The Zohar says that a dog goes hav hav. Give, meaning like give to me. Because a dog, love dogs, grew up with a dog. Sometimes they can keep on eating and keep eating. Sometimes barf and then continue eating their own barf. They love to receive, only fair. We do too. And so this notion of Zahav, gold, is Zehav, this, give it to me. What is this? What is that? What is anything? Based on the principle of Ein od milvado, there is nothing other than the creator. So the Zohar illuminates that the word this, zeh, is one of the many code words for creator himself. So through the constrictedness, through the pain and the suffering, is born within me a desire to express zeh, give this to me, meaning give you to me. I don't want to experience the suppression of my traumas and pains. I want to connect with you and experience the true freedom, the true abundance of the life that's already right here, right now. As the sages teach, who is rich? He who is happy with his portion. So when we elevate and expand our consciousness, when we sharpen our emunah, our belief consciousness, our faith, so to speak, that we can believe and even experience, hopefully, in the midst of meditation and prayer, that the pains are indeed abundance as well, also gives. Got to open up the baggage, actually see the silver and gold, so to speak, in the bag. That's why the Zohar says that silver, kesef, is from the language of kisufim. Kisufim are yearnings and longings. Same idea. Through the constrictedness is born a yearning and a longing to be fully expressed and connect to our deepest selves, and therefore creator himself. And so Shefa, abundance experientially, it's not money, though it can be money, and that can be a deposit and experience of pleasure as a vessel, certainly if used to serve one's family and community and so forth. It's to be understood, given it is a light, it's divine vitality. We wouldn't move a finger if it wasn't for our drive and ambition, for what Bal HaSulam calls the ratzon lekabel al manat lekabel, the desire to receive for oneself alone. Our born nature is receiving, and it's not a bad thing per se. We're just here to refine our reception so that we can receive in order to give, the same way that we can intend to receive healing in order to be in greater service to the collective. So the question is, are we becoming more aware and defining our consciousness to receive for ourselves alone? Or are we receiving in order to give back to the collective and therefore to the creator? That is the general principle that we're working with here. And for reference for structure, we're going to have, about 30 minutes total of sharing some wisdom, and then hopefully a beautiful 30-minute facilitation, meditation. And then for those who want to stay, 30-minute Q&A afterwards as well. So as we were, Shefa is the flow of divine vitality that sustains every level of creation, from the upper worlds to your bank account. All forms of abundance, anything that you can tap into in your faith, right? Your health, your clarity, your wisdom, any iota, any shekel or dollar or cent, the inspiration, the opportunities, all of them are technically channels of that vitality. Interestingly, the letters for Shefa, when jumbled around, also spell Pesha. Pesha is a willful transgression, meaning even that which we did ahead of time with a desire to fill our ego and feed our ego in whatever way, even that in the cosmic view can be transmuted, can be transformed, so to speak, to be Shefa as well. Our biggest falls are only in order for climbs after all. Meaning to say every blessing in your life, whether it's a client or a deal or an insight or relationship, by definition, it's all a revelation of the divine light clothed in different garments. So too the pain. So too the suffering. We are taught in the Eitz Chaim of the Arizal that there was a collective soul of humanity that was concentrated in the soul of what we call Adam Harishon, Adam, the first man. There are interpretations very explicitly so in the Talmud that there was, for example, 974 generations before Adam. So first man doesn't seem like a first man, but perhaps a first man of our understanding as far as the consciousness of a single unified source creator. Just to get a little evolutionary here. There is a form of Gematria, of Hebrew numerology. There's a standard. Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimel is 3, Tav is 400, Shin is 300, Resh is 200. Every letter has its corresponding value. The second most popular form that's used in learning is called the Atbash, meaning the Aleph turns into a Tav. The first letter becomes the last letter. The Bet turns into a Shin. Second letter becomes the second to last letter, and so forth inward. Hence the word Atbash, right? Aleph turns into Tav, At, Bet turns into Shin. So it's called Atbash. There's a deep secret to these concepts. I can give it to you high level and try to break it down. The standard gematria of any word or concept is meaning to show us the direct experience coming from the creator. It's called a or yashar, a direct light. And the atbash being an opposite form is a secret of a concept called or choser, the returning light. That is the light that is manifest after deflecting a particular pleasure that one has the opportunity to indulge, but says otherwise. They put a spiritual filter on that. And so, pretty cool. Let me just pull up this trusty whiteboard. Oh, for all our visual learners. Shefa. The shin turns into a bet. The pei, its opposite, turns into a vav. And the ayin turns into a sign. What is spelled here? Booze. Not a schnapps. But that sounds nice if you guys want to make a l'chaim. Booze is contempt. It's a type of anger. It's a type of misalignment. It's a chaotic experience. As it's written in Tehillim, Psalm 133, when there's a request, a beseeching for Hashem, for the Creator, to favor us in that we are satisfied. Savenu. It's often a synonym with something akin to shefa, savenu, seva, that we are satisfied with vuz, meaning to say our vessel is filled with contempt. And if my vessel is filled with contempt, that my lived experience is that of tohu, that of a chaotic nature, that my vessel doesn't have the room for the shefa, for the light of the Creator experientially that I'm supposed to experience otherwise. Perhaps this is a deeper notion as to why the sages say in the Talmud that when someone experiences anger, it is because they are possessed by a spirit of folly, and that in that moment is akin to the consciousness, the frequency, so to speak, of idolatry. It's a denial of the Creator because we have a principle. The Creator is all good, all loving. Ratzono lahativ v'nevri'av is what it's called. His desire is to give goodness to his creation. Hence all the darkness and the pain and the suffering throughout history as well, somehow, some way above our logic, reason, understanding. Hence the value of emunah, hence the value of faith, which is really not something blind. It's actually a super conscious. It's a super elevated logic. It's a logic that says if there is a creator, then there is goodness. It's not totally blind, so to speak. And so through the contempt, through the chaotic aspects, we have the opportunity, assuming we want to do the inner work, to dive into the shell, dive into the abyss, so to speak, and extract that spark of light. I'll answer the question because I saw it and I see the hand raised, but let's do our best to save our questions for the Q&A portion, which will be the last third of our session today. But it's a good point, and I think it's a very powerful point that is synchronicitous with the teaching here. You're asking, is there such a thing as righteous anger? The Baal Shem Tov teaches there are no bad character qualities. No such thing. Just character qualities used badly. Every single aspect within us has a kernel, a spark of holiness. It wouldn't exist if it didn't have that spark. The notion, and we have this explicit throughout our learning, that the Creator is renewing, projecting, so to speak, reality into being every microsecond. It's called Chidush HaOlam, the renewal of the world. And so if the world is being renewed in every moment, then he is invigorating every detail of reality in every moment. And so nothing would exist if it didn't have the kernel, if it didn't have that spark. So by definition, something exists. As much as you might hate it, as much contempt, as much vuz that you might have for it, there is a spark there that can be redeemed. Somehow, some way. Sometimes it has to be in drastic measure, sometimes in aggressive measure, depending on the context. But nonetheless, sparks are here to be redeemed. So is there a righteous anger? The prime example would be Pinchas. I think the rough translation in English would probably be Phineas. I don't know. Phineas is actually Pinchas. But Pinchas is the famous zealot in the Torah when seeing the prince of the tribe of Shimon, Simon, cohabitating with a Midianite uh, daughter of a king, some royalty that seduced him, and they were having relations in public. And so, out of a anger, seemingly a zealotry, as the story goes, and of course, there's endless pages of description on the deep conscious intricacy of this in the Zohar, but the surface level story is that he took a spear and speared them both on the spot. It says that Moses was questioning, he's like, oh, if there's a explicit person doing that, do we do this to them or that to them? He was trying to figure out the law. Like he was confused. He didn't remember exactly what to do. And Pinchas said, this is not a time to wait. And we're actually in Sfirat Omer, and this is a time where there is a reflection, there is an energy of mourning due to the 24,000 people that died of plague because of that misalignment from this prince of the tribe, because Klal Yisrael, the nation of Israel, had such a deep collective consciousness. If there was such a large misalignment of this nature, literally a head of a tribe falling to that degree, so then that affected quite literally and viscerally so many other people in the tribe. And it said that those 24,000 are equivalent to the 24,000 students of Rabbi Kiva who also passed due to the plague that was manifest also from their consciousness being they were in a degree of baseless hatred. And that was during this period of Sfirat Omer, hence some of our mourning practices here. But again, all to come back to the notion that if there is a vuz, if there is a contempt, if there is some type of chaotic notion, actually behind the veil, in this opposite form we can see here in the Gematria, there is a abundance to it. There is a shefa. There is a greater value that we are supposed to uncover. So happens as well that vuz has the numerical value of 15, which is the numerical value of the letter Yud and Hey, which are the first two letters of the creator's four-letter name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. It's also a name in of itself. It's a high name that has to do often with Chokhmah, wisdom, and these two letters specifically are wisdom and understanding. When it comes to clearing sparks, when it comes to refinement, when it comes to alignment, everything starts from the top. It starts with our mindset, starts with our consciousness, starts with our beliefs. It starts with our Chokhmah and Bina, our wisdom and understanding. Because Rosh, it's a top-down process. Even the language of Rosh is similar to Rishon, first, or Bereshit, in the beginning, Genesis. All of it is the notion of starts here. So that's a little bit about that. Some food for thought. Hopefully giving us enough to contemplate of our own day-to-day contempts and challenges and misalignments, and figure how within them are treasures. The Creator is literally knocking on our doors, so to speak. You get angry, saying, Adam, here's a present. It's for you, just for you. I personally delivered it. Are we going to close the door on God? Are we going to accept the gift and put it to the side and not even open it? We're going to throw it out in the trash? Maybe we're scared it's a bomb. I don't know. Plenty of metaphors to describe what our processes are as opposed to diving in and extracting the spark. So if all of reality is said to be a system of vessels and light, vessel is kalim, light is the ore, what determines how much abundance you receive? In our context, abundance is the experience of the Creator. Can it be manifest as well in other forms? Well, if I have the freedom of choice to experience anything as some type of revelation of the Creator, assuming there's a pleasure in it. And certainly there's a deep pleasure of going through a facilitation of extracting a spark, seeing the purpose and the value and the goodness within the darkness that we are experiencing and or have experienced. So what determines the shefa? What determines the light? The size and the purity of the vessel. So we're here to refine the vessel, we're here to expand the vessel. Bala Sulam says that explicitly in the beginning of the preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah. He's dochachut, it's a refinement. Sometimes we do our spiritual work, we follow the Torah and the mitzvot because we want schuyot, we want merits, we want our heaven points. We want God to give us a proverbial high five when we get upstairs, so to speak. That's beautiful. That's a level, it's something. But Rav Ashlag clarifies that the word for schut, for merit, is from the language of hizdochachut, refinement. Because the greatest merit that anyone can ask for is to be refined. Because by definition, from the refinement, there is a closening to the Creator, because closeness is defined by similarity of form. I could be sitting next to someone on the plane, shoulder to shoulder, and we can be universes apart consciously. I could have people that are 6,000 miles away from me, be very close to them. It's a matter of commonality, it's a matter of similarity of our character. So if the Creator is described as being purely giving, the more we refine our vessel to be giving as well. So by definition, the closer we are to the Creator. How do we refine the vessel? Good question. When one is given an opportunity to experience a particular pleasure, happens to be the case that the opposite of shefa, experientially, the contempt, the anger, the disconnection, there's a pleasure there too. Can even break it down perhaps biochemically. Perhaps one is addicted to other processes of their being. They're addicted to their stresses and cortisol and so forth. But there's a pleasure there. At least I'm alive, something's moving. And so in regards to, let's say, that self-development, to put a spiritual filter, so to speak, on that trigger, one step at a time, we're only human, but to build the tools and the means to take that deep breath, step away, in order that we can re-engage, dive in, and extract the spark, so that by definition is a refinement. If there's a resistance point, there's a refinement, there's a building, there's an expansion. It's a reason why everything has a spiritual equivalent in spiritual worlds, that every leaf dropping, every detail in this physical world has an equivalency above. So too, an easy metaphor for spiritual work would be the gym. The resistance points in our muscles, the breaking them down, are all in order to build us. And so when we are asked or presented with the free will and opportunity to indulge in whatever matter, and we make the accounting that this is not in my best interest, my alignment, let alone the collectives or the creators, and we deflect that, so to speak, and choose good, that's a refinement. Because we wanted the dark light, we wanted the proxy light, so to speak, and now we're going for the real stuff. Fair. The Baal HaSulam teaches that a spiritual master, a tzaddik, it's from the language of matzdik, justification. Tzedek is justice. He says a tzaddik is someone who can matzdik et habore, someone who can justify the Creator. meaning to say there's an opportunity of contempt, of anger, of trigger. And even in the chaotic experience, even in, let's say, in my case, supposed to have 150 plus people here, I have 16 beautiful souls. Certainly there's an aspect within me of some contempt, some questioning. God, why? What are you doing? But I chose to say, Baruch Hashem, blessed is God, wonderful, thank you so much. In a radical way, it's above my logic, reason, understanding. So what is happening in that moment? If I'm justifying the creator, because the creator does everything, then in that moment, one is tapping into the consciousness of a tzaddik. That it can be a moment-to-moment basis in terms of our state of being. Now, the tzaddik, the spiritual master, is said to be a channel, a tzino, a pipeline of this divine influx, of the shefa. And we're defining shefa here by connection. Certainly, the spiritual master has the greatest and highest connection to the creator. And so it makes sense that when one is experiencing the difficulty, as insane as it sounds, if they can tap into such a radical expression, a radical gratitude, and justify the creator, so then by definition, they're raising the spark out of that chaotic experience. It's an expression of emuna, of faith. Emuna, I remind us, is from the language of uman. Man is a craftsman, it's an artist. This is our craftsmanship of consciousness. If it wasn't for the difficulty, we wouldn't be in the arena to sharpen the emuna. That's a shefa, if you ask me. That's an abundant opportunity to connect deeper. If we so choose to see it as such, we'll experience it with God's help. So the more you trust, and the more you believe in the goodness, and therefore the more you can justify it, even in the difficulty, the more expansive you become, as opposed to more fear and more constriction. Before we step into our facilitation, I want to break down an amazing three-step process. Learned it from the Elevation Project, large in part, from Daniel Katz. And we'll see its correspondence here to our teaching. There is the Hachna'a, Havdalah, and Hamtaka. Subjugation, separation, and sweetening, aka elevation. First and foremost, we acknowledge what it is. In this case, we acknowledge the experience, we see it. Okay, it's a contempt, it's an anger, it's a fear, it's a doubt. By recognizing it, we are subjugating it. Until we become aware of it, it is subjugating us in our subconscious. It is controlling us, but we want to take hold. And so the awareness is first and foremost, the awareness is key. Part of that subjugation can also be described as acknowledging Shem is the source. Creator is the source of all, including the difficulties. Well, if my favorite artist or guru gave me a gift, I would treat it with great value. I remember the first time my Rebbe, who I hold in very high esteem, gave me a tiny little mirror for my tefillin, just to check out, if it's a tiny little mirror. And I received that, probably one of the best gifts I've ever received in my life. It's like, wow, because I had that level of belief and faith and the goodness, the importance. So it's not about the gift, it's the giver of the gift. How many people would pay big bucks to carry the luggage of their favorite celebrity, let alone get, touched by them? Oh, they shake my hand, touch my finger, I'll never watch that again. That whole joke. You would think all the more so that the King of all kings has any type of connection with us, any type of contact with us, that we would deem that incredibly valuable, incredibly important. So when the King of Kings is knocking on our door, albeit gifting us abundance in the garb or garment of pain and suffering, but it's still the King of all kings giving me the gift. Wouldn't I hold that gift in great esteem? So that acknowledgement as well of what the source is subjugates it in a good way, that there is a means to step into the next level, which is subjugation. So just a reminder, source is our source, creator is our source, Hashem is our source. Not anyone's marketing, not anyone's grind, not anyone's this, that, or the other. Period. Next step, Havdalah, separation. You are to acknowledge that this chaotic manifestation has nothing to do with you. You are an unconditionally valuable, perfectly good, and eternal soul. Your purpose is right here, right now, in any position that you're in, period. At your deepest essence, which is your true essence identity, this has nothing to do with you. But it's been deposited within you. It's been gifted to you. It's something you're going to hold on to for a moment, but it's not yours. He's just waiting for you to give back his deposit. He knocked on your door, gave you a gift, but you're happy. It happens to be that you're borrowing it. It's written in Tehillim, it's written in Psalms. Give your burden to God and be sustained. We should know that verses are in sequential order. They are equations of consciousness. Give your burden to God, and then you will be sustained. It's not be sustained and then give your burden to God. No, there's an order to this process. And so by acknowledging that this trigger, whatever it might be, is not me, but the real me, the higher self, is here to navigate with it, to work with it, to hold space for it, to give it the compassion it probably has been waiting for, and I've just been ignoring it all these years. So it's a separation, and it's in essence a removal of the ego, of the doubt, of the trauma-based programming, just by choosing to believe and identifying with your soul. Easier said than done. It's often the case that we need to get into a deep flow. We need to be in a beautiful space of flowing in our prayers, in our meditations, and what have you, to get to that expansive space where we can tangibly, experientially remove ourselves from that, believe that it's not us. So if we can successfully subjugate and separate, the third level is the sweetening or the elevation. Simple as I just described, give your burden to God and be sustained. Just give it back. Say, thank you so much. This has been great. I appreciate your service. Thank you for being here. It's time for you to go, though. You've done your part, and give it back. It's a refreshment or a rebuilding of the vessel, so to speak. But you're now in a position to tap into trust and certainty, tap into gratitude, albeit at times radical. It's usually in that place of experience that we actually feel it. It's actually embodied. Wonderful. So now that we've talked a little bit, right? A little bit. Wisdom is infinite. A little bit about the truth of Shefa, some ideas about Shefa. We're going to drop from the mind, hopefully, into the heart, into the body, from theory to felt connection, from asking to becoming. So please enter a space of comfort. Ari looks pretty comfy in his chair there. Mike's adjusting. Smart as a pro. Beautiful. There's Adam. Oh, hey there, brother. So please close your eyes. Relax. Simply becoming aware of your breath. There is a principle based on the verse, Kol neshamat halal kol. Every soul will praise the Creator. So too, the Baal Shem Tov reads it as Kol neshama, Kol neshima, halal kol. Every breath will praise God. So you may settle into a resonance of gratitude for the abundance that is the breath itself. The most tangible light in our lives, most tangible pleasure that we can connect to in any moment. Breathing in and giving thanks. Breathing out and giving thanks. And settle in. Become aware. The chair beneath you. The ground supporting you. The breath within you. You are safe. You are held. You are being breathed. Let us transition into some box breathing. You may follow my lead. We'll be breathing in for 4, holding for 4, out for 4, holding for 4. And feel free to stay cognizant of the principle that you can give thanks for every breath. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And continue at your own pace for a couple more cycles, whatever feels right for you. Staying aware of the principle that you can give thanks for every breath. That itself is abundance. You're doing great. Let's finish up the next cycle and return to regular breathing. Beautiful. Let us step into the next phase. The Baal Shem Tov teaches that before we pray, before we dive deep, we can imagine being fully surrounded by the light of the divine presence. And for it to also completely illuminate us. And so let us begin that process. I'd like you to imagine a ball of light above your head. You may choose to believe that it is the light of your own soul, ready to compassionately interface into your being. Imagine that light funneling in like a channel into the top of your head. You may choose to believe that this is indeed the light of your own soul. Be open to experience the tingling, the pleasantness, the goodness. And you may choose to believe just the awareness itself and the pleasure behind it, any resonance that's there, is also shefa and abundance. And begin to slowly irrigate this light into your being, down to your forehead, relaxing the muscles around your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, muscles around your mouth, relaxing your tongue, feeling warm and relaxed. Coming down to your neck, feeling warm and relaxed in your shoulders. Down to your biceps, your triceps, warm and relaxed in your elbow. Your wrists, funneling through your hands, through your fingers and back up around, up to your hands, your arms, and funneling into your heart. And take a pause there. Settle into any resonance here in your heart. There is a principle based on the verse, Kol Dodi Dofek, in Shir Hashirim, the Song of Songs, the voice of my beloved knocks. The modern Hebrew term for pulse is the same as knock. And the voice that is calling is none other than our beloved Creator. So you may choose to believe in this moment that every pulse of your heart, Creator is saying to you in a most personal way, I love you. 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 Baal HaSulam teaches when we hone in and meditate on the infinite love of the Creator has, that itself can melt our challenges and our blockages. And you may choose to believe that this too is a shefa, is an abundance. How wonderful, a heartbeat. Not everyone can say that. And continue the irrigation down from your heart to your belly, your abdomen, feeling very warm and relaxed in your hips, down to your legs, thighs, your hamstrings, warm and relaxed in your knees, your shins, your calves, warm and relaxed in your ankles, and shooting the light to the soles of your feet, akin to shooting roots into the ground like a tree. As it's written, man is like a tree of the field, symbolically representing the connection between the heavens, the soul above you, and the earth, the ground below you, your body. How wonderful. Let's transition into the next phase. You're doing great. Just remember that we're practicing here. We're learning here. Practice mindset, learning mindset. Sometimes the biggest block to having a spiritual experience is wanting to have a spiritual experience. No expectation, just open to receive whatever the Creator had planned for you anyway. And you may choose to believe that even if it doesn't work, it's still working. I'd like you to remember a most wonderful memory of love. And let it come from an intuitive place of your heart, not necessarily a rational one. A pure memory. Not anyone or anything that made you feel some type of way. Just a pure felt sense of pleasantness and goodness. And even if the energetic signature, the feeling isn't exactly love, as long as there's a felt sense of pleasantness, know that that's the one. That's the one the Creator's put in your mind for now. The Kabbalists teach that when we focus our minds on any one divine faculty, be it love, awe, compassion, we, in an abstract way, literally swim in that universe. As it's taught, we are where our thoughts are. Baal Shem Tov. So let us invite the senses, which are energetically connected to the Sefirot as well. Open up the portals of experience. See the sights of this memory, the details, the people, the colors. Hear the sounds. Smell the smells. Taste the taste. Feel the touch. Whatever is relevant in this memory. And play it for the next minute in your mind's eye, as if on repeat in whatever interval feels right for you. Perhaps longer, savor the experience. Perhaps quicker, that the resonance is felt quickly. Follow your gut. Enjoy. You're doing great. Over halfway there. Wonderful. You may choose to believe in this moment as you see this memory in your mind's eye that this was hand-picked and finely tuned just for you beyond space and time. Not just a memory of the past, but present in the present. An abundance in itself, a true shefa. And give thanks for this memory as it's been given to you by the Creator. As Bala Salam teaches, when we give thanks, all the more so for the past, we expand our vessels to receive more in the future and the now. Preparing ourselves to remember now a most wonderful memory of compassion Could be a compassion you gave, or perhaps you received. And let it come from an intuitive place of your heart, not necessarily a rational one. Whatever feels best for you. And know that as long as there's a felt sense pleasantness, whether it's compassion or not, know that that's the one. Let us invite the senses. See the sights, people, the details. Hear the sounds. Smell the smells. Taste the taste. Feel the touch, whatever is relevant in this memory. And play it for the next minute in your mind again and again, inviting the lights of compassion into your heart. And enjoy. Halfway there. Wonderful. You might choose to believe in this moment that this was also hand-picked and finely tuned just for you above space and time. Not just a present to the past, but a gift in the now. Give thanks for this memory, this example of true abundance, and expand your vessel further to receive. Wonderful. Let us converse the two a little bit. Take the next minute and play the memories back to back, moving from love to compassion. Love, compassion. Love and compassion. Enjoy. Halfway there. Beautiful. All the spirit have the other spirit inside of them. Just choose to believe you can connect to the compassion inside the love and see the love inside the compassion. The compassion in the love and the love and the compassion. And do that for the next 30 seconds and enjoy. You're doing great. Wonderful. Now that we've built an armor of light, so to speak, we're in a more conducive place to dive into any abyss, any challenge. So bring into your awareness in this moment any relationship or challenge that might have to do with abundance, not just in the matter of provision, sustenance, wealth, but more importantly, also in the matter of seeing the goodness, the spark of the Creator in all things, and connecting with Him, therefore. Without judgment, just notice what's alive there. Pressure, hope, trust, tightness. And as a way of identifying our experience and subjugating it, give this experience whatever fears, doubts, or uncertainties, no matter where you're at, as the ladder is infinite and there's always relative challenges. Give this experience a number 1 to 10, 10 being the most intense. Just defining it, giving it a character, setting yourself up to separate it from further. And what color is it? Maybe it's a mix. Maybe there's full trust and abundance, and there's an experience of whiteness. Maybe there's a judgment and gloom, reds and blacks. Just be open to observe. And now choose to believe you can simply put this energy into an image in your mind's eye. It can be anything. It can be a person, an object, a concept. It's no right or wrong. See that form and simply say to it, Shalom. Perhaps be open to see. Are there any shifts already? Any brightening or lightening of the experience just by you acknowledging and giving some space, awareness, compassion to this energy. Be open to hear what it might say back to you. And simply say to it, thank you. Thank you for being here. I know you've been here to serve and support me. So everything is from the Creator's desire to give goodness to me. And I'm choosing to believe that you fulfilled your service. So thank you. As you see this separate from yourself, choose to believe and affirm in your heart of hearts your essence identity. I am unconditionally valuable. I am perfectly good. I am eternal. My purpose is right here, right now, wherever I am. It's exactly where the Creator has put me. I am unconditionally valuable because the Creator is. I am perfectly good in my essence because the Creator is. I am eternal because the Creator is. My purpose is right here, right now, because it's what I've been given from above. And choose to believe that this experience, this energy before you, has nothing really to do with you and your essence, but it's been given to you as a deposit. You're just meant to give it back. This moment, I'd like you to invite the memories, again, of love and compassion into your being, settling into its resonance, and settling into a gratitude for them. And shine those lights of love and compassion upon the image before you, whatever this abundance looks like, or lack thereof. Shine it upon, flooding it. It's probably been waiting for a long time to feel that. And be open to see how its image might shift and change. And now that it's shifted, ask it now. What are you here to teach me? Open to receive that intuitive answer. If there's a felt sense pleasantness to the response, you can be confident. It's from Hashem. Wonderful. Now, for a moment, I'd like you to imagine again any pain, difficulty, or challenge that's relevant to the topic of abundance, whether spiritual or material. And imagine it as a mountain above you, with you laying flat on the ground. And see this mountain and all of its implications. Gauge what this challenge or misalignment has cost you for all these years, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and sit with whatever that pain might be and see it manifest as this mountain above you And now picture this with all of its implications crushing you from above, blocking any light from behind it, shortening your breath, a kotzer ruach, as if you can't express yourself whatsoever. And being open to experience and process this even for a moment. Simply choose to believe that all you have to do now is give your burden back to God. Simply ask that He take your burden so that you can be sustained. And as simple as that, with the request, picture the mountain floating off of you, slowly into the air like a balloon, floating up and up, disintegrating into a billion pieces, revealing the light of the sun from behind it shining upon you. With the clouds opening up and receiving all the ashes and parts of the mountain, as if to say, your offering and exchange has been accepted. You gave back the deposit and believe it is done. And you may quietly affirm to yourself in this place, I trust you. Please help me be a clear vessel. Help me see the burdens and trust that I can give them to you. Help me use these lessons to elevate others. I am whole. I am ready. I am yours. And feel for a moment knowing that the presence of the Creator is with you right here, right now. That this is true abundance. You may invite the energy again, all its implications, all of the blockage and the pain, if at all relevant. And see in your mind's eye again. Just be aware of the shift. What number is it now? 1 to 10. Hopefully lowered. What's the color? Hopefully brighter and more divine. What's the image? Perhaps something affirming that you've always had true abundance. You just need to remember. Feel how your body has changed. If your heart feels lighter, if your mind is clear, choose to believe that your vessel, even for a moment, even if an iota, has been reclaimed. A mini redemption, so to speak. And again, feel free to seal it with a quiet prayer. Creator, make me a channel for blessing that I may receive with trust, that I may receive in order to share, to give, to bestow, that I may give with joy and live with the purpose of light. Bring your awareness back to your body. Feel your breath. your hands, feet on the ground. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes, bringing the Shefa with you. Thank you for the opportunity to serve and support. I would love to stay for a Q&A. Unfortunately, my town has just been alerted that we need to evacuate due to the Jerusalem fires. Sure, it would be fine, just, hotel it up for a night or something like that. Uh, so please, it's an opportunity for you now that I must go. Take advantage. There is an auspicious time that, after such facilitations, if something was cleared, if a spark was elevated, you have an opportunity now to attach your prayers onto the wings of that spark, so to speak. So it's an auspicious time to request, to ask, to connect. For those who feel like this touched them, it was relevant for them, if it, and only if it serves and supports you. We just started our Tree of Life Essence Identity Shift, non-consecutive 12-week course. I've had people enter a week or two late before. It's been fine. They've been able to catch up. They can message me about that if relevant. Thank you so much for the blessing. I'm sure it'll be fun. God willing, everyone here will get to safety and peace. And in respect to the Q&A that was supposed to happen, feel free to message me accordingly if there are questions. I'll do my best to get back to you accordingly. Bli nader. No promises. I'll do my best, but thank you. Of course, all the best. We hope that there'll be a recording of it as well, in case you want to review the material and the experience. Anything worth learning is worth reviewing. And may we all continue to elevate higher and higher. And keep in mind that as far as the sphere to Omer is concerned, I'm already night here in Israel, but you guys are still, for the large part, I assume, in the States. So it is Tiferet, should be Tiferet for you. It is a day of very deep alignment, and balance, and harmony. And it'd be great to meditate on that alone and how this experience is converging with the energy of the day. Okay. We wish I could stay. We gotta get packing. All the best.